There's nothing quite like sitting down and getting started on a new LEGO set, but some LEGO instruction steps are incredibly tedious and can ruin an otherwise enjoyable experience. These are the worst instructions in LEGO sets. The NASA Artemis Space Launch System has an impressive final build, but getting there requires working your way through an incredibly tedious step. When you dump out bag 10, you'll notice that it has a smaller bag inside of it. If you look closely, you'll see that it's filled with 88 of these tap element pieces in gray. That's a lot of the same piece, but surely they can't all be used in one step, right? Well, prepare to be surprised, because on page 112 of the instructions, you'll need to grab all 88 of these pieces and meticulously place them one by one all around the outside of the launch pad to create a safety barricade. Luckily, LEGO also includes this top-down image to really help you out, but it's still a bit of a chore to make sure everything is perfectly aligned. But this is hardly the only spaceship set with some crazy steps. To see what I mean, just check out these pages from 2022's The Razor Crest set. It seems like you'll need to wrap a bunch of chain link pieces around the front and back of each of the ship's two engines for a total of 158 of these elements. At least they break up the monotony over several steps. Oh, and the final result is totally worth the hassle. In a similar vein though, this Technic set released in 2019 calls for 104 links in a single step, and the equally impressive Sandcrawler set requires 152 chain links on page 174. Not every build is as considerate though, and sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and put together 203 chain links in a single go. That's the case with the genuinely fantastic roller coaster set from 2018. This set comes with 4,124 parts, and a full 5% of them are used in this single, extremely long chain. I mean, if you know anything about roller coasters, this shouldn't be too shocking, but there's something about seeing a single step call for that many parts that just really makes you wonder if this is the best way to spend your afternoon. Also, I can't talk about this set without mentioning that it comes with a whopping 530 round 2x2 bricks, all in white. Luckily, these are all spread across almost the entire build. While it's not too surprising that chain links typically get packaged in bulk, there's another piece that seems to come in very large quantities: grill pieces. These humble parts have appeared in nearly 4,000 LEGO sets in more than 40 colors since they were first introduced in 1990, but some sets use way too many of them. The Fender Stratocaster is the perfect set for anyone with music in their heart, but it's got one step that is sure to make anyone's hands cramp up. On page 126 of the instructions, you'll need to fish out a total of 86 of these gray grills and completely cover 3 6x12 plates. While the result is a perfect recreation of an amp, it's easily the worst part of this building experience. However, this is only scratching the surface, because the UCS Venator-class Republic attack cruiser actually comes with even more of this part. A total of 152 of these pieces appear in dark bluish gray in this set. However, you wouldn't really know it by just looking at the set, as most of them are scattered among the interior and exterior of the ship across this set's 1,500 steps. However, there's one set that truly takes the cake when it comes to these grill pieces. The undisputed grill master of the LEGO universe is without any doubt the Empire State Building from 2019. This 14-inch tall set comes with 1,767 pieces, and a staggering 684 of them are tan 1x2 grill elements. That means that these pieces make up 38.7% of the entire set, and these aren't just scattered throughout the build like those bricks in the roller coaster. No, these actually all come at you in a surprisingly small number of steps. Step 169 calls for a total of 110 of these parts, and just a few pages later, on steps 172 and 173, you need another 80 of them. Basically, at every stage of the build, you'll be putting on dozens and dozens of these pieces onto a wide range of SpitBrix. I mean, just look at these images from the instructions, as well as the final build, and it's really little wonder that this is routinely described as one of LEGO's most boring builds. Regardless, this is hardly the only landmark that has some questionable steps. The United States Capitol building contains some of the most tedious and confusing instructions from any set that I've come across. For starters, this set includes several of these 1x1 Technic bricks, these 1x1 bricks with knobs, and these 1x1 angular bricks. Considering that they all come in white, yeah, there's no way this is going to be confusing, right? Well, luckily LEGO included these handy images whenever these parts are used, so at least you have a fair warning that these things will be a bit tricky, or at least you need to pay a little bit more attention to which 1x1 brick you're picking up. But believe it or not, that's not even the tricky part, because on page 105 of the instructions, you'll need to place 40 of these bricks in 20 sets of 2. Tedious, but fine. Let's do it. Well, just a few pages later, you'll need to do it all over again. You'll keep using these parts over the next several pages in groups of 2 to 10, and by the time you're done, you'll have used all of this set's 178 1x1 angular bricks. Now, there's another very important set that we need to mention here, which is the Eiffel Tower. This set has the reputation of being one of the most repetitive, bland, and boring building experiences of any LEGO set. On page 129 of the set's second instruction book, you'll need to pick out 144 1x1 round black studs and meticulously place them all around the exterior of the frame. Look, in a set with more than 10,000 pieces and 70 different bags, this was never going to be an easy build, but this is a bit ridiculous. However, believe it or not, there's another set that calls for even more parts in a single step. The Pac-Man Arcade is a true blast from the past that will have you scrounging through your couch cushions for extra quarters. As seriously impressive as the final build is, there's at least one part of the process that's been giving builders trouble since launch. On step 158 of the instructions, you'll need to assemble a few Technic pins, a Technic connector, and a basic rod. Okay, well, no problem. Well, now you need to do this 63 more times. Yup, you'll need to use a total of 256 pieces in this one step, and that's not even the worst part. Have you ever tried pushing a rod through a few Technic pins? They do fit, but you're going to get a lot of friction, and this step is sure to leave you wanting a break after you're done. As much as I love LEGO, this is a step that I never want to do. Regardless, LEGO sure does love video games, and Pac-Man isn't the only iconic hero to get a faithful recreation in plastic. The NES set from 2020 might just be the most faithful version of Mario that LEGO has ever released and perfectly captures all of the original title's 8-bit glory. Unfortunately, that much detail requires an equal amount of effort. Between pages 149 and 179, or in other words, all of bags 17, 18, and 19, you'll be placing hundreds of multicolored tiles ranging from 1x1 to 2x2 along the set's rotating display. Make no mistake, this can be seen as a bit annoying and tedious, but beauty has its price. If placing a few hundred 1x1 tiles isn't your idea of a good time, well, I can't blame you, but it means that you're probably going to hate putting together these next two sets. And as I show you, go tap that subscribe button and like button if you're enjoying this video. The world map is by part count the largest LEGO set ever released as of this video. However, that doesn't mean it's necessarily the most fun. Much like the Eiffel Tower, this set requires a tremendous amount of repetition. If you've never put together one of these art sets, then you might not be totally prepared for what you're getting into. Just take a look at the very first step of the instructions for an example of what I mean. That's it. That's the entire step. Just put 256 1x1 round plates and tiles onto the background, and then do it again, and again, and again. In total, you'll repeat this basic process 40 times. Thankfully, LEGO at least included these super handy charts for every single step, but it's still an absolute slog for those who didn't realize what they were signing up for when purchasing this massive set. If this seems like a bit too much, but you still want some LEGO art, the Great Wave is a scaled down option with a lot more variety, but it's still got a few finger-busting steps. However, if this is even too much for you, there's always Van Gogh's Starry Night. This set is radically different from any of LEGO's other art sets in that it doesn't require you to place hundreds or thousands of tiny pieces onto a series of base plates, but that doesn't mean that it's an easy build. I mean, if you look at the background, you'll notice that the several shades of blue are all lined up horizontally, and that's because that's how the background gets built. Starting on page 93, you'll empty out bag 5 and get to work. The first thing you'll notice here is that this bag is almost entirely made up of blue plates in no fewer than 6 different shades of blue. For the next 40 pages of the instructions, you'll slowly build the background layer by layer until you're finally left with this massive blue wall. The colors of blue bricks are so similar to each other that LEGO anticipated that some builders would use the wrong colors in the wrong spots. So this bag includes several extras of each color brick just in case, which results in this unusual looking pile of bricks being displayed in the instructions once you're done. Other sets such as Seinfeld require you to cover the floor with pieces as if you're building a puzzle. This set requires you to lay a total of 241 pieces all over the floor, which takes over 10 steps to do so. This could get very tiring very fast. But even this is nowhere near the most tedious LEGO set that I've ever come across. That dubious honor has to go to Captain America's shield. I mean, just by looking at this set, it's obvious that it's going to have some repetitive parts, but trust me, no matter how bad you think it might be, it's worse. Let's check out some of the most egregious steps. The tedium kicks off early at step 9, where you have to build the basic shape. Already, it should be apparent just how this is going to go. You'll be repeating every single part of this build up to 36 times, so get comfy. Just take a look at a few of the later steps, and you'll quickly realize that this pattern doesn't change. Once again, the final build looks amazing on a shelf, but that doesn't change the fact that this is just an extremely repetitive and tedious build. I mean, just look at these steps. There's very little variety in this set. You build the same thing over and over again. Now, some people might like this, while other LEGO fans may just find this to be outright boring. However, even this is nowhere near the most tedious set in the Avengers line. The Avengers Tower might have the most repetitive steps of any LEGO superhero set to date. Click on this video right now to see what I mean, as well as many other examples of terrible LEGO instructions, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more LEGO videos.